Hey, second grade. This week we are going to be reading a story about Muhammad Ali. You can see to the left is the table of contents for the story, and this is where you can find different topics and what page they start on. For example, if you want to learn more about Muhammad Ali's childhood, that starts on page 6. If you want to reread about his comeback, that starts on page 11, and so forth. So let's start reading the story. A new champion. In 1964, the heavyweight boxing champ Sonny Liston prepared to defend his title. Liston was so tough that some boxers were afraid to face him. No one expected his latest challenger to win. While most boxers stood still and hit hard, Cassius Clay danced around the ring, throwing quick jabs. And while most boxers let their fists do the talking, Clay invented creative taunts, including a poem about punching Liston so hard he would fly into space. Who on earth thought, when they came to the fight, that they would witness the launching of a human satellite? And you can see the picture up here in the right. It's a picture of Muhammad Ali. And remember, every time there's a little text box underneath the picture, that text is going to tell us more details about what's happening in the picture. So it says, Cassius Clay exchanges words with Sonny Liston at the weigh-in before their title fight in Miami Beach, Florida on February 24th, 1964. In their fight, Clay dodged Liston's hardest swings while he hit Liston with quick jabs. After 6 rounds of taking punches, Liston gave up. Cassius Clay became the heavyweight champion of the world, but his story was just beginning. Soon, he would change his name to Muhammad Ali and make that a name history would remember. So this picture right here, it says, though Cassius Clay stood 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighed 215 pounds, his blinding speed made it difficult for opponents to land punches against him. So this man right here, this is Cassius Clay, also known as Muhammad Ali. We're going to learn why he changes his name later. And then this is his opponent. Childhood. Ali was born Cassius Clay in 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky. His family had to deal with segregation on a daily basis. At that time, restaurants and stores in many parts of the South refused to serve African Americans. Mobs of white people sometimes attacked or even murdered African Americans whom they believed had not shown enough respect toward whites. You can see a picture here of 2 little babies. It says Cassius Clay on the right, which is this one right here, sits with his younger brother Rudy. So this one is Rudy. Rudy also became a professional boxer when he grew up. When Cassius was 12, someone stole his bike. He told the neighborhood police officer, Joe Martin, that he wanted to beat up the thief. Martin suggested he fight in the boxing ring instead. Cassius began training with Martin and won his first fight later that year. At 14, he won an amateur boxing tournament. So you can see here young Muhammad Ali, or known as Cassius. It says Cassius began training as a boxer at age 12. So this is him when he was 12 years old. And by 16, he became a talented amateur. This is him at 16. Amateur boxing means boxing just for fun. It's not professional. He's not doing it professionally at this moment. It's just like a hobby. Going for the gold. At age 17, Clay won several amateur boxing championships. The next year, he went to Italy for the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome. Clay had never flown before and was scared to get on the plane. But he wasn't scared in the ring, where he won the gold medal. After Rome, Clay started fighting for money and not just for medals. He began teasing his opponents with rhymes before his fights. Before he fought Jim Robinson, he said, "This guy must be done. I'll stop him in 1." Sure enough, Clay knocked him out in the first round. Clay won 19 fights in a row before beating Liston and winning the title. So this picture right here shows Clay, Cassius Clay, and it says Cassius Clay fights as a polished boxer during the 1960 Summer Olympic Games. Muhammad Ali. About the time he became champ, Clay joined the religion of Islam and took the name of Islam's prophet. He said that the name Clay was given to his family by slave owners. Taking a new name was his way of taking back his identity. So you can see two pictures here of Muhammad Ali, and the caption says, two leaders of the civil rights movement, Malcolm X, which is this man right here, pictured with Muhammad Ali, and Martin Luther King Jr., which is this man right here, pictured with Muhammad Ali. Both had a deep impact on the young boxer's thinking. Refusing to fight. In the mid-1960s, the U.S. military began drafting young men to fight a war in Vietnam, a country in Southeast Asia. Ali refused to be drafted because of his religious beliefs. In a stand against racism, he also said he wouldn't fight for a country that didn't treat African Americans as equal citizens. Speaking out made Ali a hero to many people, but the boxing world didn't want their most famous fighter stirring up trouble. The same day he was arrested for refusing the draft, Ali was stripped of the heavyweight title and banned from boxing. Instead of fighting, Ali now spoke at colleges about the war and the civil rights movement. So you can see this picture here, Muhammad Ali is being interviewed by all of these people asking him questions. And the caption reads, Ali speaks with the press on his way into the courthouse in Houston, Texas on June 20th, 1967. Ali was charged and had to stand trial because of his refusal to be drafted. Drafting means when the U.S. military picks people to go fight in the war. But he refused to go fight in the war, so that is why he got arrested. The comeback. After 3 years, Ali was finally allowed back into the ring, even though his court case was still going on. He challenged the new heavyweight champ, Joe Frazier, in a match called the Fight of the Century. For Ali, it was the reverse of the Liston fight. His speed was no match for Frazier's strength. Frazier knocked Ali down several times. The judges awarded the match to Frazier. It was the first professional fight Ali had ever lost. But 3 months later, Ali won a more important victory. The Supreme Court ruled that he had the right to refuse the draft because of his religious beliefs. So here's a little picture, and it says, "Do you know the model for Apollo Creed?" The 1976 movie Rocky was based on Chuck Wepner, a low-ranked fighter who got to fight Ali for the title in 1975 and came surprisingly close to winning. Rocky's on-screen opponent, charismatic champion Apollo Creed, was based directly on Ali. So this just gives a little extra information about a movie and about how a character in the movie was based on Muhammad Ali. 2 amazing fights. 3 years later, Ali fought Frazier again and won. But by then, Frazier had lost the heavyweight title to George Foreman, a young, powerful new fighter. Ali challenged Foreman in a fight held in Central Africa called the Rumble in the Jungle. Ali got Foreman to tire himself out early, making it easier for Ali to knock him down. Muhammad Ali was the champ again. So you can see this picture here. Muhammad Ali is fighting George Foreman, and the caption says, Ali performs the rope-a-dope maneuver during his fight with George Foreman in Zaire in 1974. So the title rope-a-dope is just the name of a specific move that he does while boxing. And he's just like leaning against the ropes to try and give him an advantage to win. The following year, Frazier tried to win the title back from Ali in a fight held in the Philippines called the Thrilla in Manila. It was a tough fight that Ali called the closest I've come to death. In the 14th round, Ali used the last of his strength and threw everything he had at Frazier. Frazier gave up. Both men were so beaten up that Ali later said, "We went to Manila as champions, and we came back as old men." You can see this picture below. The caption reads, "Ali punches Joe Frazier." This is Ali and this is Joe Frazier. Ali punches Joe Frazier in the head during the 7th round of their rematch in Manila, Philippines in 1975. Ali kept his title for another 2.5 years before he lost it to Leon Spinks, but he fought Spinks again a few months later and won. He's still the only boxer to win the heavyweight crown 3 times. But in his next fight, Ali lost the title for good to Larry Holmes. At 38, his long career in the ring came to an end. So you can see Muhammad Ali here in the white shorts, and the caption reads, "Ali won his rematch against Leon Spinks in 1978 in a bout that lasted 15 rounds. Retired but still fighting. After retiring from boxing, Ali traveled the world speaking up for human rights. In 1984, he learned he had Parkinson's disease. This disease makes it hard for the brain to control the muscles. But in 1996, he returned to the Olympic Games to light the Olympic flame in Atlanta. Ali struggled to lift the torch, but as the crowd cheered, he held the flame aloft, a fighter to the end. The torch is just this stick that has a flame at the top. That's what a torch is. In 2016, Muhammad Ali died at age 74. President Obama praised his bravery, saying, "Ali stood his ground, and his victory helped us get used to the America we recognize today." Ali wasn't just the greatest boxer who ever lived. He also helped change his country by fighting for what he believed in. So you can see Ali here at the Olympics, and in the caption says, "Ali holds the torch before lighting the Olympic flame at the opening ceremony in Atlanta, Georgia in 1996. So basically before the Olympic Games can start, there's a ceremony where somebody lights the flame, and lighting the flame symbolizes the start of the Olympic Games. So that's why it's super cool that Muhammad Ali was able to do that. Now I'm going to read you the glossary of the vocabulary words and the definition for those words. Amateur means not professional and is done as a hobby. Banned means officially forbade someone from doing something or prohibited. Civil rights. Legal, social, and economic rights that guarantee freedom and equality for all citizens. Drafting. Ordering someone into military service, especially during wartime. Human rights. The rights that are considered by most societies to belong automatically to all people, such as justice, freedom, and equality. Islam. The monotheistic faith of Muslims based on the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Racism. The belief that one race is better than another. Unequal treatment based on such a belief. Segregation. A policy of separating groups of people from one another, often on the basis of race. Supreme Court. The highest court of law in the judicial system of the United States. Great job, second grade. I hope you really enjoyed this story. Now it's time to answer a few questions.